Welcome back, everyone. It is March 1st, and that means it is Red Cross Month, which means they're highlighting all the volunteer work that they do provide to our communities. Joining us here live in studio now is the American Red Cross Regional CEO, Heidi Ruster. Thanks so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me, Emily.
Happy Red Cross Month.
Yes, we're so excited.
Whole month devoted to you and all of the good you do in our community. And I first want to kind of start off with volunteers.
Sure.
They are the backbone of everything that the American Red Cross does. So kind of talk to us about their importance, why you need them, and how people can really get involved.
Yeah, so 90% of our work with the American Red Cross is done by incredible volunteers every day. I started with the Red Cross 30 years ago on a military base in Spain, supporting our military service members and their families. That's a big part of what Red Cross does worldwide. But every day, every 8 minutes throughout the United States, we respond to a disaster. Most of that being house fires. Here in Utah and throughout the country. So volunteers are the core of who do that every day.
And for those people not house fire, that volunteer means
gosh.
the world in that moment.
No doubt. And usually it's 2 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
Incredible volunteers that are ready to respond at a moment's notice, provide emotional support, just help those next steps, food, clothing, shelter, whatever that is, mental health support to get people to that next step, or opening a shelter for a larger event. I had we have incredible volunteers that deployed over Christmas to Kentucky for the tornadoes, ready to respond locally and anywhere.
And talk about those deployments, because they're not just
Yeah.
gone for an afternoon. That's a multi-day, multi-week event.
Yeah, usually 2 to 3 week commitment, and usually 12 to 15-hour days. So it's a commitment. But it gives me chills, because every time you go, you know you're making a significant difference for people there in their worst days.
And talk about these volunteers, where they're coming from, how they get involved, and kind of who they are.
Yeah, sure. So from all parts of our community. They may be working full time and want to do some work on a weekend to respond to disasters. They may want to work with the Red Cross almost full time. We have some volunteers that work with us 50 hours a week, so committed, leading other volunteers to make sure we can respond, that do preparedness education, people that are previous teachers, leaders, serve on our boards of directors, or help at our blood drives, be that greeter and that receptionist at every blood drive to make people feel comfortable. So I have had leaders of Fortune 500 companies join us when they retire, a 94-year-old woman that would still deploy, or a kiddo that wants to go provide education to their peers.
I love it.
So from any way, fashion, or form, and for as long as the time you have to engage with us. I think for many, and I know for me, when I volunteer in other capacities, it's not the time you always give or what you're giving, it's what you get back, which makes such a difference, right?
Talk to us about how the Red Cross has changed as the pandemic has kind of turned our whole world upside down.
Sure.
The Red Cross has changed as well.
It has. So, you know, we've been around for a very long time, since 1881, and
We've seen a lot.
We've seen a lot of changes, and we, in the past probably 10, 15 years, we've been really good about getting into much stronger technology and more capable. So we were able to do a lot more remote than we ever thought we could. And in some responses, we needed to do those remote to keep everybody safe. So we're able to do that more effectively today, especially if somebody is far away or more remote. We're able to do that initial connection and then be able to follow up with them. So that's given us more abilities to support, but at the same time, some volunteers didn't feel as comfortable maybe going out or engaging, or had to focus elsewhere, or weren't well. So we had to do without some of our incredible volunteers that are slowly coming back to us, or we had to engage others. So make some changes and differences to how we do what we do every day, but we were lucky to be set up technology to be able to do that effectively. We have been able to now jump back into preparedness activity and engagement and be with schools and that kind of thing. So we're excited to get back to some of those things, get back to installing smoke alarms, which we haven't been able to do. So we had to put some things on hold, unfortunately.
But they're coming back.
They're coming back.
The website is there, the apps are there. You can find all of that great information online at abc4.com. Heidi Ruster, the American Red Cross Regional CEO, thank you for joining us, and thank you for all the good the American Red Cross does for the state of Utah.
Really appreciate that.
We sure appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay, come